Hey there, everyone. My name is Ari, and I'm the host of Made of Metal, a motivational podcast where we tell stories about regular people overcoming insurmountable odds. So, welcome to the third struggle of the week. I truly appreciate you joining me. I just wanted to touch on why I took a little bit of a break between two and three. So, basically, I wanted to come back and be more intentional in terms of what I'm sharing with you guys. I want it to be mutually beneficial, productive, informative. I basically wanted to touch on all of the things that I think would be helpful for everybody, as well as myself, because, like I mentioned, this is a bit of a therapy session for me. It's very therapeutic, and it's given me great practice with being on camera. So I feel a lot more confident when I can speak on subject matter that I feel well versed in. So that's why I wanted to just come back and talk on things that I feel would be helpful to you and me. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was managing stress. Managing stress, especially right now, post all the pandemic craziness. Even though I still feel like we're pretty deep into it, dealing with all of these the new landscape out there, the new social landscape, the new career landscape. Um, and I wanted to touch on this particularly because managing stress has always been one of my weaker points. In that, well, first of all, let's talk about what stress is. The very, very basic definition of stress. The basic definition of stress is a biological reaction to an external trigger. So we're talking about, the most common triggers: family, work, your social life, your health, things that are inescapable, that are permeated into your everyday life. And they become larger than life, to be quite honest. A worry can worrying about your health can literally overcome or overtake your entire thinking until all of your thoughts are focused on this one worry. And that's how you become stressed, and that's actually worse for your health. So, stress is very, very damaging to our bodies. It's not just mentally and emotionally, but physically. And so, it's really, really important that we learn how to better manage it and how to better take care of ourselves. So, my personal experience with stress centers a lot around family and work. I'm 31 years old, so I'm kind of in the building phase of my life where your career, all of your financial decisions, your health, everything is starting to take a much bigger priority in your life. And in doing so, you have much higher expectations for yourself. You have much loftier goals, and you begin to push yourself more. So that in itself, the pushing myself, is I cannot remember a time in my life where I wasn't doing that. And when you get a little bit more perspective on the triggers of stress and how stress plays into your daily life, you realize, like, wow, I'm creating a lot of the stress that I'm feeling. And that's in the worry and the anticipation of something bad happening, not necessarily bad things happening, but just the anticipation of it. Just to give you an example, I'm a huge raging introvert. I know there's going to be many people who are like, what? No, if I like you, you'll never know I'm an introvert. But generally, I'm very selective about who I give my energy to, because it can be very draining for me. So if it's not sort of a give and take, or, you know what I mean, where I don't feel like it's more of a balanced energy exchange, I tend to shy away from those. But just generally, just managing my expectations for an event. This is a great example. I will become absolutely just obsessed with how much I'm going to dislike being at this event. And I want to be very, very transparent with you, because I know these thought patterns are childish, they're unrealistic, and they lack quite a bit of perspective. But I can honestly say without a doubt, anticipating an event and anticipating how much I'm going to dislike being there is a lot, always much, much worse than when I'm actually at the event and going through it. The idea of, oh, I'm going to be stuck there. Oh, there's not going to be nobody I'm going to be able to talk to. I'm going to feel, this sense of obligation that just really, really, I really despise that feeling. This sense of, oh, I have to give my time and energy to this. This isn't my choice. So when I start to get into these thought patterns, my main goal is to switch the way that I'm thinking, to kind of like pivot away from focusing on the negatives of this event and pivoting towards the positives. So, just very realistically, I'll think, okay, well, worst case scenario, I get a lot of free food. You know what I mean? So, how bad is that? I know that, so and so is going to be there. I really like hanging out with them. So, that's going to be okay. It's in a really good location, so I'll be able to leave if I need to. I try to list all the ways that to sort of counteract the feelings of anxiety that I'm feeling. Like, okay, you don't need to feel anxious about this because you do have an out. You shouldn't feel anxious about this because, you do have this resource, this support that you can lean on. I also like to do a bit of meditation before I go out to an event. And this is absolutely integral, absolutely one of the most important things that I do on a daily basis. I incorporate meditation into my everyday life. So meditating and things like that, this is something that I always do. But in terms of before a event that I know is going to stress me out or something of that nature, that's when I'll incorporate a longer, a little bit more involved meditation session. I'll do like a guided meditation for myself. And it's always very helpful because it puts me in my mind state at ease, which is I stop going through the racing thoughts, racing from one negative thought to the next. And I'm able to sort of slow down my thinking and focus on, the positives, which is, okay, let's focus on the things that you enjoy about this event, or the things that let's focus on, the timing. You're only going to be dedicating an hour and a half. Let's focus on, you're going to be driving somewhere new. It'll be great for you to check the area out. So it takes time and it takes hard work to be able to make those pivots because your brain is so used to getting stuck in that cycle of outlining all the ways that you're not going to enjoy it. So to manage that stress that you're feeling, let's say coming up to like a big project or coming up to a very important family event, or coming up to let's say asking your boss for a raise, which can be a very, very stressful situation. Understanding all of the other factors that are playing into your stress are extremely important, but incorporating ways for you to mitigate that stress ahead of the event and just mitigate that stress and learn how to deal with it in a way that's manageable, that is healthy, and that doesn't turn you into a huge spiral, basically, where all of you can focus on are, the terrible things. That I think is the most important, the most important part of day-to-day living, honestly, especially for somebody who is dealing with, social anxieties, or dealing with, the anxiety of the pandemic, returning to a regular social schedule, regular, just normal social expectations. They can be incredibly stressful and burdensome, and you can feel sort of trapped. But when you take a step back and you really, number one, are selective about where you focus your time, and you intentionally use these coping mechanisms to mitigate the situations that are causing you this incredible stress, you will, you'll just notice a huge difference within yourself, and you'll be able to look at the world a lot differently, instead of, oh, these things stress me out and they bother me, and riling yourself up. You're like, okay, this will be a great time for me to use this new coping mechanism or this guided meditation. Or, I sometimes like to just take a walk and just immerse myself in nature, just to have something that I can refer back to while I'm in the situation and say, that was a really good walk before I came in here. So it really does help me. It absolutely does. So just wanted to touch on that. And it's a conversation that really needs to be had, and that we're all going through stress, all age levels, especially in this crazy, pandemic times that we're going through. Please, please, please make sure you're being mindful of yourself, of your stress levels, of how you're feeling, and taking these steps to make sure that you're not getting into an unhealthy cycle, that you're not, poisoning your thoughts and not really giving yourself a chance. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. And I'll include some links to the podcast in the description. Please comment and let me know your thoughts. And if there is anything that you in particular you'd like me to discuss, I would love to hear it. I love to hear the feedback. So thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.